ignition of creativity. Kids all over the world have a natural affinity for Webb's big pursuits. And now we have a collection of young artists ready to showcase their work.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Girardi, and this is Delta V, and we're kicking off the Unfold the Universe Challenge with NASA and the James Webb Space Telescope. NASA is hosting an Unfold the Universe Art Challenge. Use your imagination to share what you believe the Webb telescope will find.
I believe that the Webb's telescope will see galaxies, stars, planets, the moon, and don't forget our star, the sun. Up in the sky, really high, it's space.
Ooh, space. Thanks, Greta. Good job.
This is my picture of space. Hello, my name is Gabriel. I am from Romania. This is how I imagine space. Hello everyone, good morning. This is the drawing of distant galaxy that can be seen by James Webb Space Telescope. Hi, my name is Anastasia, and this is what I do when I think the telescope will look like, what the telescope will see. I drew the Earth, the Sun, a new planet, a black hole, and stars.
A feel for it from this full-scale model that we hosted at the World Science Festival back in 2010. That million-mile journey will be nerve-wracking to say the least, but with extraordinary testing and numerous fail-safes, the project's scientists and engineers are confident that all will go smoothly, or at least smoothly enough.
Thanks for joining us. Raphael, tell us a little bit more about French Guiana.
Well, French Guiana is a French territory that borders Brazil. It's located in the Amazon rainforest. 97% of the land is covered in trees, so that's why it's so green and beautiful. And you can totally imagine that the wildlife there is absolutely incredible. This is actually one of the best preserved habitats in the world.
And of course, it is in the jungle. And yet it is actually the European spaceport. So what makes this location in South America so important and so relevant?
Well, there are several reasons for this. First, we are on the coast. It means that we can launch over the sea from north to east without having to fly over inhabited area. So this is very convenient to reach any kind of orbit. There is no hurricane here, big tropical storm, there is no earthquake, but more importantly, we are very close to the equator, so that we can benefit from what we call the slingshot effect given by the rotation of the Earth. So let me take this globe. Basically, here on the equator, we are all traveling at roughly 1,000 miles per hour. That's very convenient. Of course, we don't feel it.
Oh my god, dude.
Of course, we don't feel it. If we were on the poles, that speed would be very, very close to zero. It means that when Webb is right now on the launch pad, inside the fairing of the Ariane 5, it's already traveling in the right direction, and we can use this extra boost to get us into space, get us into space. That's also very convenient for Webb, because doing so, it can save its fuel and increase its operational life in orbit at 1.5 million kilometers from here.
And that really is important, 1 million miles, isn't it? And so there's a real proper slingshot effect.
Yeah.
There's been a couple questions about how long will it take for images to come out, and there's a lot of things that need to happen before the images are coming. So, Macarena, why don't you take us through some of that?
Yes, so for the first scientific, beautiful images to share with the public, that'll take 6 months. And the reason is because it is, so we launched today, it takes a month to take to the orbit place, to the Lagrange 2 point.
Both John and Evina mentioned that the Webb telescope is going to this Lagrange point, the L2 point, as we call it if you take a course in orbital mechanics. Why that location, and how far is that from Earth?
The Lagrange point is beyond the orbit of the moon, so it's far away. And that's great for astronomy because you don't have thermal and light effects coming from the Earth and the sun. With the Kepler mission, for example, we had instrument stability. The instrument stability was affected by the detailed position of the spacecraft in relation to the Earth and the sun.
According to NASA and their Lagrange points, you can't get to find a spot of equilibrium where you could just not be falling to the Earth. You have to go 1 million miles out, and you have to be between the Earth and the Sun in order to have this balance point. So when the Earth rotates around, you no longer have that balance point. This is a lie.
To reach Lagrange point 2. And you might also just explain what is Lagrange point 2.
So it takes a month. I think it's actually 29 days to get there. And the Lagrange 2 point is this very interesting stable point. So the gravitational pull between the Sun and the Earth creates this point where it is stable, and you can, as we can see there, Webb can orbit around the L2 point in a very stable orbit. Only needs a little bit of corrections once in a while. It only needs a little bit of corrections once in a while. It only needs a little bit of corrections once in a while.
The Hubble Space Telescope delivered profound insights about our place in the cosmos. But perhaps the biggest takeaway from Hubble is that we've only just scratched the surface. Hubble gave us the best ever views of stars and planets forming inside vast, dark clouds of dust. But as soon as we had that data, we were asking new questions that needed better measurements, clearer images. Hubble was also able to capture images from galaxies so far away. Images from galaxies, 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 images from galaxies.
In the meantime, they are images that inspire, educate, and sometimes just make us say, wow.
Yeah.
Over the years, NASA has given us spectacular photos and renderings that reveal a colorful and mysterious universe.
No doubt. And now Chris Martinez is introducing us to two of the artists behind some of the most iconic space art in the galaxy.
In a small, bright office, working side by side,
let's see.
Robert Hurt and Tim Pyle bring the universe to life.
What we're doing does have real science underlying it.
Robert is an astrophysicist turned artist. Tim, once a Hollywood animator, is now a planet illustrator. Together, they produce some of NASA's most popular images, from renderings of how planets light years away could look to actual photos of stars and galaxies captured by NASA's powerful telescopes.
And this is sort of how it comes to me. And then
many of those images have a dark, grainy start, but color and light reveal an astonishing glimpse of how the deepest regions of space might appear to the human eye.
What I'm trying to do is show people sort of the broader colors that the universe has to offer.
It's a delicate blend of imagination and data. The artists meet with NASA scientists over many drafts to ensure a planet or galaxy's look lines up with the research to make each one as accurate as possible.
I love the challenge. It's kind of like a puzzle to me of trying to create something that looks really cool within the restrictions that were given by the scientists.
It can take days, even weeks, to produce just a single image. The dazzling final results, enough to keep us all dreaming of the final frontier for years to come. Chris Martinez, CBS News.
That I wanted to ask, which I'm happy if each of you would be willing to chime in. It's a question that I get asked a lot. I know probably that you must get asked a lot too, and it has to do with money, right? When we look at the price tag on the telescope, you know, I don't know what it is, but people kick around the number $10 billion. One response is, look, on the scales of government funding over the length of time over which the money is spent, that's actually not that much money, but $10 billion certainly sounds like a lot of money. So Adam, what is your response when people say, hey, should we be spending that amount of taxpayer money on this kind of an endeavor?
Several instruments on board. There's 4 different instruments, and you know there's some moving parts, and so you need things to be cool. Several instruments on board. There's 4 different instruments, and you know there's some moving parts, and so you need things to be cool.
Let's go over here and talk to James Cooper. You're going to show us what's going on there.
Yeah, hi. So I have here an example of a non-explosive actuator. We have 178 of these.
These are all these little pins we're talking about, right?
James Webb, right?
Yeah.
107 of the 178 are the membrane release devices. And we use this type of actuator because it produces a very low shock when it's released. Full-scale, single segment, one of the 18-year segments on James Webb.
I'm here with Keith Parrish, a senior engineer on the Webb mission. And Keith, you brought something to show us today.
Yeah, yes I did. So conceptually, Webb Sunshield is actually quite simple. All we need is 5 tennis court size pieces of this material outstretched to protect the telescope from the sun. So what I have here is an actual sample of that material. This is just Kapton.
It's so light, yeah.
Yeah, it's an industrial, you can buy this and it's commonly used. And what we do is we buy it for Webb, we seam it all together in small pieces, and then we actually coat it with special coatings to give it the what we call the thermal properties we need in orbit.
Engine start. And liftoff. Décollage, liftoff from a tropical rainforest to the edge of time itself. James Webb begins a voyage back to the birth of the universe. Punching a hole through the clouds, 20 seconds into the flight, good pitch program reported.
Trajectoire est nominale.
Vehicle performance is nominal. The Ariane 5 rocket continues to fly uphill in nominal fashion. The rumble of the powerful Ariane 5 now being felt here in the control center. 3D animation.
Impressive.
Oh. 13 kilometers in altitude, 7 kilometers downrange, traveling about 0.6 kilometers per second.
Les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
The trajectory reported to be nominal by Jean-Luc Voyer, the range operations manager.
When the computer detects this threshold, it will separate. Séparation des EAP. Done.
We have confirmation of solid rocket booster separation from Jean-Luc Voyer.
Webb does not need any more tweak. Paramètres à bord sont normaux. So each kilogram being very important for the performance of the launch, we are going to eject this no more useful fairing.
You can see also on the yellow
Langage de la coiffe.
On the screen, we had the confirmation of the separation of the two solid boosters and now of the fairing, meaning that we have crossed the limits of the atmosphere. So everything is going super good. And the DDO just said that all parameters are...
And there we go. Duplicate clouds. How is that? How is it we get duplicate clouds? Why can't they just give us a picture of the Earth? And they're misleading. They're like, oh, this is live. Well, there you go. I mean, again, every time they use an Earth, it has duplicate clouds. All right, let's go on a little more. Move this ahead. Watch that garbage. Okay, here they go back. They're going to show us some more. Let's see what they got. Here we go. Let me pause everything. Pause that for a second. There you go. More duplicate clouds. Yeah, I can see the duplicate clouds. That's what I can see.
You try walking in those shoes. You want to try? You want me to transport?
You're a dog. Oh, he lives to do that to me. Now, see, y'all gonna send your letters of complaint to me. He started, not me. He made me laugh.
My bad.
You're bad.
What's in sports, George?
Oh, let me take the water.
So let's continue the mission.
And Raphael, this is a view from the upper stage camera called the Vicky Cam, looking back at the James Webb Space Telescope. This is on about a 20-second delay or so because of the way the imagery is processed here in the control room. There's your telescope ready to unfurl its wings, basically, and begin its journey to the Lagrange point, the L2 point, about 1 million miles away from Earth. And Raphael Chevrier down in the fishbowl. So far, so good.
As we enter now the second stage of the second phase of the flight, the upper stage is going to power for about 16 minutes to place Webb on its transfer orbit, and right now everything is again nominal, as the DDO just said.
a number of exhaustive studies have been performed by the mission teams in Europe, in the US, on the thermal conditioning inside the telescope.
It was a perfect ride to orbit. And all of the separation sequence events are running in good fashion according to the telescope controllers. And there is the view from the upper stage camera on the Ariane 5 looking at the James Webb Space Telescope as it moves gently away from its launch vehicle.
Fantastic pictures of this telescope.
Go Webb, go Webb.
Yes, go Webb. Fantastic pictures of this telescope.
Go Webb, go Webb.
Yes, go Webb.
You know, is that actually happened? Of course it happened. God, dark. We've become. Oh my God! A lot of weird.
Ironically enough, as we marvel on this view from the upper stage camera, this will be humanity's last view of the James Webb Space Telescope as it moves to its workplace about 1 million miles away from Earth.
Yes, you're right, Rob. Impressive, fantastic pictures. Yeah.
Now we'll be hearing shortly from the mission operations manager at the Space Telescope Science Institute, Carl Starr, who will be calling out the procedures that will lead to the deployment of Webb's solar array. And down in the fishbowl where there is jubilation, let's go to Raphael Chevrier of Arianespace. And before we do that, Raphael, a bit earlier than planned, but there is the solar array having been deployed. James Webb now has its array out as we stand by for confirmation that it is power positive.
Hey, Rob. J'entends pas ce qu'il me dit. Il m'a appelé ou pas? Il m'a appelé ou pas, Rob?
Non, il t'a pas appelé.
And there it is. There's your critical call. James Webb not only has legs, but it has power.
Congratulations to all the team involved in the flight. Really, there is no words to describe the immersion that is happening right now in the fishbowl. So all I can say is good luck, Webb, and bring us incredible data from the deep universe.
Fabregat, it was a smooth ride to orbit. Everything went by the book, almost like a simulation, without any problems. And we thank you for all of your insight throughout the course of the day.